All right, so let's talk about this next fundamental concept. Again, this is something that you can apply in any situation where you're speaking English. So, the concept that we're going to be talking about is body language. There's three things that I want to point out in this video about body language. And they've all been very useful to me as a second language speaker, and I hope that they will make you a more compelling speaker. First, is to use your hands when you're speaking English. You may naturally use your hands when you're speaking your language. You may use your hands to tell a story, and it gets people's attention and it makes them more attentive. But then when you start speaking English, you freeze up, right? You're nervous, you're thinking about the vocabulary, you're thinking about the grammar, and there's just too much going on, and your hands all of a sudden they go in your pocket, or they're like this, or maybe they're like this in front of you, but they just don't move very much. You gotta let them go as soon as you can. You need them. You need them to keep people's interest, especially if you're at lower levels. Because if you're at a lower level, you may be taking a little bit longer to find your vocabulary words, and you can lose people. People can, their attention can stray, and now you've lost the connection and you're just not making an impact anymore. And so you need to use your hands to keep them engaged, to keep keep the story moving. It can help you quite a lot. So that's one thing. The second thing is to be aware of how you use your head. Now, in English, one of the best things to think about when you're using your head is to use the nod, just like what I'm doing. And you can use it, like I'm doing, to accentuate an important point. Now, you won't do it this frequently, but from time to time, when you want to really accentuate a point, when you want to highlight something that's important, use your nod. You don't want to be a bobblehead like this. It just doesn't look very professional. But you also have to be aware of, any jiggling of your head like this, that is quite confusing to, at least to an American or a Canadian, a British person. Many Anglophones will not know, it'll send them a mixed message. They won't know quite what's being communicated with that head movement. But an assertive nod to punctuate a point, just one, will really make a difference. Third, try to be aware of your micro expressions. So these are furrowing of the brow, when you're confused or when you're not quite sure how to say something. Be careful of that. Or frowning as well. When you're not, furrowing the brow when you're confused, or frowning when something you hear, information makes you upset, is one thing. But be aware of those micro expressions being related to what's going on in your head about your English. So you're a little frustrated because you can't quite get the right word that you want, and you express it with your face. If you can avoid that, if you can keep your face neutral while that processing is going on, the searching for the right word, the searching for the grammar tense, it's a bit easier for the person receiving the message. Because, of course, the person receiving the message is also responding to your facial expressions. And if you express frustration with your eyebrows or with your mouth by frowning, they might wonder why. They don't know what's going on in your head. They don't know that you're frustrated because you're looking for a word. And so it can be a little bit off-putting to them. So try to keep your face neutral while you're dealing with finding that next word. So that's it. Those are three things that I suggest that you test out, that you remember, that you try out, using your hands when you are communicating. What's the second one? Watching your head, using a nod to punctuate a point, one nod. And the third one is trying to avoid furrowed brows when you're looking for a word, when you can't quite find the right word, or trying to avoid a frown when you're a little bit annoyed that you're not getting the word as fast as you can. All right, I hope this is helpful.